I'd like to share a thought that God brought back to my remembrance concerning a book that I have coming out later on this year. Well, I guess it is later this year. But a whole 2 chapters is dedicated to identity crisis because identity crisis is something that affects people. I know people who are 80 years old who still have absolutely no clue who they are. And because of that, they are still seeking out things they're not supposed to be doing and making choices that won't lead them to their promise. And what God reiterated to me as I was meditating last night that I would like to share briefly is that when you suffer from an identity crisis, you don't know when you don't know who you are, you don't know whose you are. And when that happens, you cannot receive your destiny by promise, which God promised you when He brought you from non-existence to existence. In other words, before you was born, there was a plan and there were some things laid out for you that you were supposed to do to fulfill to get the things that you desired in your heart. I heard a lady tell me one time that, God gives you the desires of your heart. But where did your heart come from? Where did the desires even come from in the first place? And it's so often that, like the Bible says in Hosea 4:6, that we are destroyed for lack of knowledge. When we don't know what it is that we're supposed to be doing, you can't do what you're supposed to do to get what you're supposed to get so you can have that peace that surpasses all understanding. I don't want to get too deep, but basically, when you suffer from an identity crisis, you will simply do things that you're not supposed to do to try to get things you're not supposed to get, and then it will lead to a life of frustration. Just imagine going to college for something that you're not going to actually ever going to, a field you're never going to work in, but you have the debt from going to college and you have put in all that time. That's just one example. A lot of people suffer from that. But personally, I have 7 children, 7 kids, and God has shown me because I spent time with God. I'm not special. I'm not some super special being or super spiritual, but I spent time with God when I had these children, or when these children was being born in the process of being birthed in the womb. God showed me pretty much what their destinies were supposed to be made up of. Now, this was their foundation, and they was obviously all supposed to be Christians, but we kids and we veer and all this kind of other stuff. But anyway, my oldest son, Sean Jr., he showed me through his life that he's an observer. He was real quiet. He likes observing things. He bears the characteristics of a watchman, someone who just observes and watches, that's real quiet and mindful. And that was supposed to be molded towards and geared towards what he was supposed to go after. Now, my daughter, my second oldest, she's a protector. She's a protector by nature. She likes to protect those that are close to her. She would at any cost, she would protect them. She would almost lay down her life for the people that she cared for and loved for. Now, my third son, he bears the characteristics of Samson, if I could say Samson. He's very zealous. He's strong. He has a lot of zeal towards the things that he's passionate about. Now, my fourth son, that's the card, because what God showed me concerning him is that he's like Absalom. If you know the Bible, if you don't know the Bible, I'll try to briefly explain. Absalom had royalty on both sides of his family, meaning his mother was royalty and his father was royalty. And in our days and times, that relates into the fact that I'm a preacher and his mom is a preacher. So he got it from both sides. So he's kind of like, he knew, and I knew from his birth that, first of all, he was a miracle birth. I'm not going to go into his testimony. It would take a long time, but he wasn't even supposed to be born according to man's standards. And God showed me with him that the gift that he gave him will be his platform for his ministry. And just like Absalom, he has to make choices that would lead him to godliness. Otherwise, his gift will become his curse. Now, my fifth child and daughter, Hannah, she bared a strong passion fruit of just being submissive and humble, but powerful. Silent but powerful. And whatever she does, she's going to have to put her whole heart into. She's going to have to be all or none. And my sixth child, Samuel, they say is autistic. Samuel is not autistic. Now, that spirit of autism, or that demon from autism, is trying to get him because of some things that I don't care to discuss, because I don't want to put nobody on blast. But the bottom line is that that's not who he is. But if he get raised that way and he's shown that way, that's the only way he's going to know. Now, and finally, my seventh child, seventh biological child, seven. That's another one. He seven can do almost anything and everything he want to do. He's left-handed and right-handed, and God showed me with him that it's gonna be. I have to direct his zeal because he's gonna be so full of energy and so full of zeal that if I don't direct it, it's gonna get misdirected, and people are gonna mistake that as being a problem. But I said all that to say this, that when God gives you something, a responsibility of something concerning him, he will let you know what it's about so you won't suffer from an identity crisis. Not only should you know who you are, you should know whose you are. In other words, I'm a Christian, I belong to Jesus Christ. So what is my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing? What am I supposed to be reading? What am I supposed to be studying? What am I supposed to be preparing myself for? These are things we need to know. We can't just aimlessly go through life as if we letting the wind push us and tell us what we're supposed to do and what we're supposed to, or jump on every famous thing or every popular thing. These are things we as believers need to know. Bible says once again that we're destroyed for lack of knowledge. You gotta know, number one, who Jesus Christ is, and number two, who are you? And if you don't know who you are, how in the world you gonna help your children know who they are? By heritage. I mean, we're more than just black, and people are more than just white or Hispanic or African. It's deeper than that. God created humankind for a purpose and a reason. If you don't seek out that purpose and that reason, in particularly, you will be lost and you will suffer an identity crisis. Now, my book will be out, and I have a whole chapter, and this book is going to be like no other book that I've ever wrote before because it's going to help people who don't even know Jesus Christ or even want to know Jesus Christ understand who they are. And the truth is the truth. The truth don't betray nobody. The truth is just the truth. My name is Sean Henry Scott Sr. I go by the position of Apostle in the body of Jesus Christ. God bless you and may heaven's face continually and always smile upon you. If you want the information concerning the ministry, dial 614-723-9770. God bless you.